So, Elio, I'm glad to have you here. So, thank you for joining me. And
Hey man, thanks for hosting me here.
I found you on X. That's where I stumbled upon you firstly. And
hmm
I noticed you were growing pretty quickly on X, if I'm being honest. What made you stand
Yeah, man.
out? What made you.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's probably like a mix of a few different things. I think the first thing that I started to implement was just giving out more value. All of the value I could, just giving it out all for free through threads, long forms, even like short forms. And yeah, I mean, I just didn't hold anything back, and that helped heaps with my growth in the beginning. I think also being authentic and just documenting my journey helps a lot because that's kind of the things that'll help you stand out when you're first starting off. Is just being yourself, talking like how you do in real life, just showing your results, showing your losses, showing your wins. Yeah, man, that's what people like to see.
Yeah, I see it a lot of times where people. They idolize someone, which is okay, but they start to emulate that person. The most often one I say
Mm,
is Andrew Tate, and everybody starts
yeah,
acting, speaking
I
like
agree.
him, doing the same things. Bro, I see dudes smoking cigars, but they are not even enjoying it. They don't even like cigars, but they are smoking it just to be like him.
Yeah,
But
bro.
they are saying, no, 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 I really enjoy it. But usually they don't. They don't smoke it when nobody's
Ah,
watching. They don't smoke cigars at home just because they like it and because it's a habit of theirs.
exactly.
They see it in
They
someone
just want to be
else.
like him.
Most of the time, these people do it just because someone else is watching. That's the funniest thing,
That's
and
facts. That's facts.
it's in everything. Types of speaking topics they people speak on. You know, when I watch self improvement channels, the smaller ones, a lot of the times, including myself, but I'd say that
Mhm.
I'm really speaking on topics that I want to speak about. But I see someone. I mean, I started out recording stuff that somebody else already recorded on, but I'm really trying my best to speak on topics that I never see anyone talking about. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job at that. But I see some
Yeah,
dudes
man.
speaking on NoFap and stuff like this where there are hundreds of other videos on that. Nobody's speaking about religion, for example, or anything like this. You
Mm.
know? That's the that's the thing that's missing. Not religion, but stuff that is really authentic, as you said. And I think this is also
Yeah.
the reason
Stuff that
why.
you want to talk
Exactly. And that's why most people. That's why the smaller people they struggle to grow when people just see. Like, listen, I've already heard someone give the same advice. So why would I start listening to this person that I'm not familiar with, not comfortable with listening
about.
to, just to hear the same advice that I've heard from Andrew Tate, Hamza, anybody else before them. Why would I do that?
Yeah, bro.
So,
Yeah, they just kind of regurgitate what already big YouTubers have been saying for years, but they just
exactly.
do it in a worse way years later.
Mm, yeah. Anyhow, you are a copywriter. You give a lot of good advice on marketing in general, and your ex is
Mhm.
really like giving really high quality advice. From what, bro, I check your account every single day because I'm looking. This is the most important thing. People have to look forward to your tweets, and I think you're doing a really great job at that because I really am looking
Yeah, I
forward to a
appreciate
new
that.
tweet of yours because I'm always wondering what is he gonna talk about now because yo you always deliver.
Hey, bro, that's my job here, to be honest. It's just giving out more like, just not really redoing advice again and again, but just giving out things that I'm kind of interested in the moment, and things that I'm learning about, and just giving it out to other people, written in a nice formatted way.
Hmm. Yeah. You also, speaking of copywriting, you have your own copywriting business. outset business, it's called. Tell us more about it.
Hmm. Yeah. So I've always liked writing. I used to run a blog where I would talk about business and stuff, and I still do. I just don't write as often on there. I'll only post a blog like once a month or something like that, just because my focus have shifted. But it just kind of came naturally to me in the beginning. I heard about it on YouTube from, I believe, this one YouTuber. I think it was Tyson 4D and one other YouTuber. And I was just like, hey, why not? I already like writing. I already have base level skills on it. I might as well learn copywriting and start offering it. So yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, I was about to ask how did you get in copywriting, but you pretty much summarized it. I'd ask, when did you get into copywriting? What was that?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. So well, I've been writing for probably a year and a half now, almost a couple of years. But I started copywriting probably around, I'd say October-ish. I probably
Hmm.
started learning it, and I started outreaching kind of late October. So yeah, that's the main time where I really started to get into it and started watching videos about it.
Yo, how long did it take you until you made your first money, for example? Or when you start really seeing results, when you landed your first client, whether that would be for a testimonial, like free work, but genuinely, when you weren't doing it with no results, but you actually saw some of the fruits of your labor.
Mm-hmm. From copywriting,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it probably came like I think 30 or 40 days after I started copywriting. I landed
God
my
damn.
first client, and yeah, it was actually a paid client. I didn't have any testimonials previously. It was a paid client. It was pretty high ticket, to be honest. It was a one-time deal, and he paid me around 1K to do his website copy, and it went great for him
Whoa.
and my side. Yeah, man.
Fucking hell. Yo, a lot of people, for example, do it for half a year and they don't see any results. And I mean, I'm skeptic about it because usually you're doing something wrong. Like, I was also doing it for about a month and a half until I saw some results, and I started really horrible. Like, yo, I was doing some free work for testimonials from small companies that their testimonials didn't value anything. So when I started outreaching, I usually did those testimonials as anonymous because if anybody were to look up the companies I've worked for, there are such small companies that they probably never even had a copywriter before me, so they don't even know what's good and what's bad. So I started off pretty badly, but around February, because I started getting properly into copywriting like right up at the start of this year when I joined the real world and the copywriting campus. I didn't even know what
Mm,
copywriting is. I had no idea. And I thought, like, what the fuck could copywriting be? Like, what, copying words? Like, I was like, what do you mean copywriting? Is somebody paying for me just to copy words? And then I completely
yeah, bro.
got it. That's not that simple, obviously. And I started making money like around um, a month and a half, maybe two. Out of that, I got my client, and yeah,
Very nice.
I'm still working with the same client, and he's paying me pretty well. And I'll also still have some gigs, like like short term clients, but I only
Mm,
have one long term client, and I'm looking to expand right now. But yeah,
mm.
man, like
For like
30.
email marketing sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing a
Got
newsletter
it.
for a cafe in London. I'm not gonna name it which
Oh, that's
cafe it
awesome.
is right now, but
Mm.
yo, I really enjoy this work, to be honest. Like, I think
Yeah,
that
man.
you can only be a good copywriter when you're enjoying copywriting, you know?
No, I fully agree. I feel like writing in general is just, I don't know, it's kind of fun. It's like a little game, putting it all together and just writing it in a way that'll really persuade the reader to take an action. I don't know, I personally really enjoy it, and I think it's the same for other copywriters out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same with a lot of these creative types of works, but especially writing. If you don't enjoy it, you're gonna write like a fucking robot, I feel like.
Bro, exactly, bro. You're gonna
Yo,
use ChatGPT and stuff.
yo, you know what's funny? Most people write so badly that even ChatGPT could do a better work than them. That's the funny
No,
thing.
that is so true. And it's
Yeah,
crazy, man, because ChatGPT does not know how to write copy.
exactly.
It uses emojis and stuff. Bro,
Oh
it's
my
crazy.
fucking god. I used to use ChatGPT in my outreach messages and I'd copy and paste like 150 messages and I'd get like one or two replies and always they told me to
Yeah, bro.
fuck off. They
Yeah,
didn't
that's the
even
thing,
say
man.
hi. They only said not interested. Dot.
Yeah, man.
Because
It's because they're getting so many of those every day. They're just getting
exactly.
AI botty sounding ones, and it just doesn't stand out.
Yeah. You know, whenever I see a fucking essay in a DM, even some people contact me for whatever. I've got really weird offers, all right? I've got I've got even an offer for some fucking porn agency, and I'm like, bro, I'm fucking
Bro,
16. I'm not going
no.
into porn. Shut the fuck up. But man, I usually reply to those because those are fun. But whenever I see someone, this is your opportunity to escape the matrix, and he sends me like a
Oh my
fucking
god, man.
essay with like, bro, like over 1,000 words DM. I'm not gonna even take a look at that, let alone reply to that.
Yeah,
That's pretty
when the
easy to
DM has
tell.
a subject line, that's when you know you shouldn't read it.
Usually
It's pretty crazy.
the way I've seen the most results is like 2 to 3 sentences in a DM and an outreach, and that always generated me pretty good results. At least most of the time, I always got a reply at the very least. You know, and that's the
Yeah,
main
same
thing.
here.
So
Same
yeah,
here. I
when
think keeping it short is the way to go. Because business, you need to realize that business people, they don't have all the time in the world. They value their time as really prestigiously. Like they don't want to waste time on some whole 1,000 word essay just for you to pitch them your copywriting services.
yeah, and I'd say that most people don't really relate to that because they have all the time in the world, you know. But when you're
Mm,
busy, when you're starting to have really some sort of pressure on yourself, you're gonna start really valuing your time more, and you're not gonna even give your time to people that don't deserve it in real life, let alone in a DM. So
exactly, exactly.
yeah, and usually in my requests, I always take the first look at the one with a check mark, a blue check mark, because that's a sign that those people had to do something. I mean, I know that you can pretty much buy those these days, which is kind of um, a shitty decision, but that Instagram and Meta made, you know, like I really hate that people can just buy those. And on Twitter, bro, on X, it's so fucking often. Bro with
Yeah,
40 followers has a blue check mark. Like then what
bro,
then it
it's
loses the
crazy.
whole meaning. It loses the
Yeah,
whole
and they get
meaning
like
of
40 impressions a post, and they already have the blue check
it.
mark. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it loses the whole purpose behind the check mark.
Yeah. But I still open those like I go give those the priority still.
Yeah, yeah, same here, same here. I think it helps a lot. It already gives you a sense of authority to the person reading it
It does actually.
simply from that blue little check. Yeah,
Yeah, so speaking of outreach, I'm just saying keep your outreach short. Like, if it has more than 5 sentences, you should really take a look from the other person's perspective and really ask yourself if you only had like 60 seconds to take a look at this DM and reply to it, would you really give it your time? Most of the time, it
yeah, that's a
won't,
great
you
way to
know?
think about it. Just putting yourself in their position, in their shoes.
Yeah, and putting a timestamp on it, you know, like a time limit, because usually these people that are trying to work with, they usually have a time limit. They usually
Mm.
have like only 5 minutes to reply to DMs, and they just open a DM, see it's too long, okay, next one. They don't even read it, obviously, because
Yeah,
it's too long.
I mean,
Now,
yeah, in a way, it's a
obviously,
bit of a elevator pitch because you really only have under like a minute to kind of pitch them or at least catch their attention and get them to reply.
yeah. Now, obviously, fucking Andrew Tate himself, the real him, would DM you. You would give your time to him because he has a high value. But when
Of
a
course.
random dude with 50 followers writes a whole essay, you have a few options that you immediately think of. But you either think it's a scam or a dude trying to make money off of you that doesn't have any skill or whatever. And people don't usually want to work with these people, and that's kind of obvious.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, why should I work with you? That's what
Yeah.
you really need to think in your head before pitching someone. It's like, why would they want to work with you and not the other 100 people that are in their DMs?
Yeah. Self reflection is like one of the crucial things, and it's not only in copywriting, but in whatever skill, whatever business. Why your clients would want to work with you? That's the most important thing.
Yeah, bro, that's a great tip right there.
And the worst thing about it is when you really are honest with yourself, it kind of hurts your ego, and usually people that detracts them from it, and they don't want to hurt their egos anymore, so it's
Mm.
kind of hard to do something that's uncomfortable, like really being honest with yourself and saying, okay, look, I'm writing like an idiot, I'm a nobody, so I gotta make myself more interesting. Well, most people don't want to accept that they are fucking a fucking nobody, and
Yeah,
that's what keeps them from really making any progress because they don't even realize their problems.
they're just locked in their own mind. They're not thinking about the outside world. Yeah, I think a
Yeah.
lot of people need to just let go of their egos for a second and, as you said, self reflect. Because even if it might hurt a tiny bit in the moment, it's really what's going to pay off more in the future, of course. So, yeah, I mean, self reflection is crucial for success in general, not just copywriting,
Mm. Anyhow, I'd like to change topics a little. I mean, change the question, but we're still on the topic
for
of
sure.
copywriting. I want to ask you what made you choose copywriting from all the other business models out there, because everybody's talking about, SMMA, e-commerce, anything else. What made you choose
Yeah,
copywriting? Why copywriting?
yeah, bro. Oh, damn, I think it was really I chose it simply because I already had a bit of a competitive edge. Like I actually enjoyed writing already. I already had a tiny bit of experience in base level writing skills, like flow, structure, formatting, that sort of stuff. And yeah, I thought I might as well. I already know a little bit about writing, so I might as well get into it. That was probably
Yeah,
the main thing.
yeah. What was it for me was when I joined the real world. I looked at the videos for every single campus. Before you join, there's a video explaining the campus. And it was Professor Andrew Bass that explained it the best. Or not the best. He I didn't even understand what he was saying, but the way he said it. Bro, that dude was above the word of arrogance. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? He's saying that he's a multimillionaire, but like he looks like a regular guy. But bro, the confidence, the absolute utter arrogance he spoke with, that attracted me because he
Yeah,
spoke with such tenacity. Like I was I was sure that this guy's the real deal, and I was right. Andrew Bass is one of the hands down the best copywriters out there because the campus, the way he even rules the whole campus and the bootcamp itself, he explains things that I cannot understand and comprehend it from anybody else. So I must
Hmm.
say,
He's a great teacher as well, I'd say.
yeah,
And you can just tell that he knows how to write a good piece of copy simply from the way he talks. He's so
yeah,
confident about it. You can tell he knows what he's talking about.
yeah, and he has results to show for it, obviously. So that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, man, just the way he explains things, he makes it so understandable by giving examples, by giving his own experiences, because he's not one of those people that just tries to teach you something where when they haven't even experienced it themselves. You know, he made every single mistake there is in his career, and that's what gives him the authority to be able to teach it to someone else because he's actually been
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah. And is he the only teacher or like the main teacher in the copywriting campus of the real world?
He's the only one in the copywriting.
Oh, I see.
Every
Yeah,
campus
man. I
has
mean, he
one
knows his stuff.
teacher. Campus has one teacher and their captains, which were students that became rich thanks to the real world, and they have some lessons of theirs too.
Hmm. Do they
So
talk
yeah,
on there too?
um, yeah, there are the captain lessons, but usually they're short because every single professor there actually gives it his all, and he actually cares about the results his students are gonna have. So
Hmm.
look, I cannot talk bad about any of the professor because they all do their jobs great. I mean, I'm only in the business mastery, social media and client acquisition campus and the copywriting campus, and both Arne Wingen, Dylan Madden, and Andrew Bass are great professors. They explain it perfectly, but the one thing that Dylan and Arno don't have is the tenacity that Andrew has. Like the way he speaks, it makes you pay attention. He almost speaks like Andrew Tate. They both, when these people
Hmm.
talk, you actually listen to them because they make you want to pay attention. You know?
Yeah. I think it's probably the confidence in their tone about what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I need to listen to this guy. He knows exactly what he's saying. He's confident about it. As you said, the tenacity. Yeah, that's what it really is behind it, and that's what any good teacher has is the tenacity about what they're speaking about.
You know where I think that comes from? It comes from living it and actually having the experience. I think
Hmm.
that
You can't
it
fake it.
you can't fake it. You can really tell when someone has been around the block for long enough. You can really tell it. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, man. Whenever someone tries to be the new Andrew Tate mini version of him, I can tell he hasn't lived the things he says. They even lie sometimes. They tell a story which is false, which they have made up, and you can a lot of the times you can tell. Now some are better liars than others. Some actually tell the truth. But when Andrew Tate speaks, you can actually tell that he actually did it. Whatever story he's talking about, you can actually tell that he knows what he's talking about.
Hmm. You instantly kind of already have trust in what he's saying.
Yeah, 100%. Anyhow, I wanted to ask you, what would you say is the hardest thing about copywriting? What was one of your roadblocks, for example?
Hmm. Yeah, for me personally, the writing, and this goes for most copywriters out there, all the people listening, the writing is actually the simple part. That's the easiest part. Once you get the hang of it, once you practice enough, you will be a good copywriter, or at least you'll be okay. You'll be good enough to write for someone. The hard part is the client acquisition side of it, like the outreach, the closing, the sales calls, because the only way to really get good at that is by volume and getting the hard practice out there. For example, I've personally never done cold calls, but just getting rejected back and forth, just hundreds of times, that's what's really going to help you improve in the outreach side of it. So yeah, the outreach side of it is the by far hardest part.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more because that was. It's like pushing off a rock that you think is not moving, but it's slowly but surely it is rolling and moving, but you can't see it. And it's really hard when you dedicate yourself every single day, 5 hours every single day, for 2 months straight. Some of you guys 3, 4 months, and you haven't made a single penny yet. And I know how painful that is because if you've told someone about it, that's the worst thing. Because then they're gonna keep asking you every week. So, you wanna be entrepreneur? How much money have you made this week? How much money have you made? Oh, it's been 2 months. You haven't made a single penny. It's a scam. It doesn't work. You're not cut out for it. And
Man, that is so relatable right there.
you wanna prove these people wrong, but you're on this block when you're doing it more for them than for yourself, and that's when you don't try as hard. When you do it for yourself, purely for yourself, that's when you're gonna push the hardest and for God, because it's more authentic. When you're trying to become successful only to prove others wrong, that can be a good motivator, but not a great motivator. If
Yeah,
you feel comfortable in your life, but you just want to prove others wrong and you want to flex on other people, if that's the only main reason, nine out of 10 times you're not gonna succeed because you're really
fully.
doing it for them.
Yeah, man. And at the end, I think Alex Hormozy actually talks quite a bit on this. But at the end, let's say you've made it, you're successful, and you meet up with them. You do like a high school reunion, some weird shit
Yeah.
like that. When you talk to them again and you say, haha, look at me now, they're gonna laugh at you and say, oh, you did this all for me? You know, it's gonna be on you, not them.
Yeah. It is actually painful when you tell someone about it. That's Look, I know that nobody is gonna listen to this advice, but if someone will, I highly suggest that you don't tell anybody. And it's really hard when all of your friends are losers and you think you're better than them, but objectively, you're just a little bit better than them. You're just one step ahead. Like you've started going to the gym, you've started watching some self improvement content. Everybody can do that. Making 5,000, 10,000, $15,000 a month. Not everybody can do that. And that's what's gonna gain you the respect. Especially when you don't tell nobody about it. And they are like, man, you've changed so much. I never thought that you had this ambition in you.
Mm,
Well, yeah, because I didn't do it for you, I did it for myself. And I didn't need to tell you about this.
yeah, I agree. I think if anyone, as you said, it's going to be hard, but you really don't need to tell everyone about it. Personally, I haven't even told some of my close friends. Well, not quite close anymore, but I've only told my extremely close friends who are on the same path as me, who are also in self improvement, also making money, and I've told my family, and that's about it. And if you're going to tell someone, tell them after you've already made a little bit of money, because
Exactly.
then they'll actually have respect for you.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, bro. At the fucking beginning, like 1 week at the copywriting, I was already telling my friends, yeah, man, fuck school. School's a waste of time. I'm already trying to make money online and blah, blah, blah. And I fucked up big time. I told everyone, bro, even like quote unquote friends, which I saw only in school. I told them that I don't want to be a brokey. I am working on my online business. And bro, I was telling them that I have an online business, but I generated zero money. And I made this stupid mistake. And I must say, January and February, pretty much, that was really painful because everybody was, bro. I regretted that decision so much because everybody was asking me, "So how's your business?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying. I'm blah blah blah," and they laughed at me, and rightfully so. I was being an idiot. I was telling them about things they didn't care about, and it's only at the end of February when I land my first regular client, because up to then I
Mm,
made only like $500 doing gigs, like one time $50 jobs and stuff like this. You know, when I made my first $1,000 online, in March, I think this month, but at the beginning of this month,
mm,
I'd say that's when people started looking at me a little bit different. Because in my country, $1,000 is quite a lot for a 16-year-old, I'd say.
mm,
And
mm.
like my teacher's probably making like $1,000 a month. So that's the funny thing.
Yeah, man. And then people start to respect you more after you've made a decent amount of money.
Yeah, the thing is, they didn't respect me. They thought I just got lucky, and they just asked me how. But yeah, I saw, and I felt it that they didn't respect me because they saw that I was just a loudmouth, and I had to really self reflect on myself and see that I was telling things to
Interesting.
people that didn't even care about it, you know?
Mm.
So, yeah, I really hope that someone will take this advice and not tell anybody about it. Not even your mom and dad. Don't tell them about it. Like,
Mm.
because once you tell them about it and you don't get results in the first month, I mean, they are gonna think you're a little bitch. They're gonna think you're a liar because you made such big promises and then you don't keep up on them. And people
Mm.
lose
And you
respect
can't,
from you.
yeah, you can't really expect them to believe in you that much in the start because they're not really up to date with what's going on now. Because it would be weird, back in their time when they were your age, for some kid to be making money on a computer. You know, making more than a teacher. It would be weird. It would be incredibly unusual. So yeah, they won't really believe in you to the start until they actually see that you're making money. That's when I think you should actually reveal to your parents. Once you've probably made, I'd say around $1,000 a month, that's probably when you're safe to tell your parents, and they'll
Yeah.
actually believe in you.
Yeah, I told them way before that. I
Really.
told them like when I wasn't even making a single penny. And yo, your parents, the thing is, your parents, if they give you money, I mean, you give them promises that you're gonna make your own money, and then you don't keep up on them for months on end. And they're gonna look at you as a bullshitter. They're still gonna love you
Mm.
because
They're
you're
gonna lose
their
trust.
child. Yeah,
Were they
depends also.
supportive of you in the beginning?
My parents.
Yeah,
Mm,
about your business things.
I'd say my dad was like, he's just saying nonsense. My mom actually believed in me, which is the worst thing because I've let her down in the beginning, and it's only when I
Hmm.
started to make a little bit of money, she actually saw that okay, this thing can work. He's already made like $500. He showed me like, okay, this can work. So she saw
Yeah,
that it is possible. My dad is still skeptic about it, and I get it. He grew up in completely different times, so I understand it. What
yeah, man. I think
about
that's the
your
case with
parents?
a lot of people. Mine was actually like pretty much the same. My mom and my dad slightly sort of believed in me in the beginning. They thought, oh, he might as well have fun. It's kind of cool. He's doing this little business stuff. He'll learn some stuff. And then once I made my first, I believe it was my first 1K, they were like, oh, this thing might actually work. And they started letting me kind of prioritize it a tiny bit more. And yeah, that's kind of when they really switched it up a little bit. and I'm incredibly like grateful for that. To be honest,
How old are you now?
yeah, I'm 15. I turn 16 years old in July.
What the fuck, bro? You sound like fucking 21, bro.
Bro, I get that all the time on sales calls. They'll be like, "How old are you?" I'll say, "Oh, I'm 15." They say, "Are you sure?"
Oh, you actually tell them your real age?
Yeah, bro. Do you lie about your age?
Nah, bro, I tell them I'm 26, bro. I don't tell them I'm
Nah,
60.
bro.
uh,
My fear is that they'll somehow find out. They'll be like, "Oh, he's 15. He lied to me." So I
well,
just I just be straight up with them.
I mean, my long-term client knows I'm 16, but when I'm doing one-time clients, I don't really give a fuck. So I tell them I'm 20 something, just because it's hard to close someone that doesn't know you, and especially when you're that young.
Mm,
So I'd say that if it's a long-term client, be 100% honest with them. If they're just a one-time client, be honest only about the things that um will affect your relationship. But I mean, your
mm,
age shouldn't really affect the relationship if it's a one-time thing. So
mm. As long as you can bring them results, that's the part
yeah,
that matters.
exactly. So I want to ask this, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to answer this. But how much revenue did you make approximately ever since you
Mm.
started this journey?
Yeah, yeah. So I can't say too much. I can't say the exact number, but I'll say that it's in the multi full figure mark. I'll
Hmm.
say that it's in the thousands.
Hmm. That's actually at 15. That's very good. Like,
Yeah, man.
bro.
It feels crazy at 15.
Yeah. Like, does it seem surreal sometimes for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, at some points I can't really believe it. All I can be is grateful, but I'm like, oh, this shit's actually kind of working out. And yeah, it's kind of surprising in a way. Like I'm trying to continue catching up with what's going on.
Yeah, man. I remember vividly when my client actually agreed to the price I offered for every 3 weeks, and
Mm.
I was like, "Oh my fucking god, bro!" Like I was like, I remember that night I didn't really go to sleep. I was like a few hours in the bed. I was still thinking like, yo, is this real? I was checking the messages again and again, and I was like, what the fuck? Now this is too good to be real. He'll change his mind tomorrow. He'll change his mind. 3 weeks come by. He sends me the money, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And then I
It's
spend
crazy.
that money. I spend that money for. I spend it on a lot of things, and I'm like, man, this is fucking real. And I know that
Yeah.
it's like it's not something. It's not thousands of dollars a month. It's not those big numbers, but it's like almost a normal salary for a dude that's working 8 hours a day, and I'm working
Mm.
like 1 or 2 hours a week, and I'm like, whoa, like 6 hours of my time gets me half the salary of my teachers who work every day for 8 hours. I'm like, that's impressive for myself.
It's
So
crazy. And then you start having thoughts like, oh, what if I did this two more times this month? And then you're
exactly.
like, oh wow, I'd be making more than my teachers.
Mm.
And it really, I think that first, especially online dollar, that first online dollar is what opens up your brain to opportunities and your mindset. You're like, wow, this is achievable, and I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna try making more. And you kind of just chase that feeling of making online dollars.
Yeah, I must say when I first got like a real job, it was last year in the summer. I
Mm,
was there were these trucks, Coca-Cola trucks for a festival, and we were unpacking it like thousands of cans of Coca-Cola, bro. I don't fucking get it. Who drinks all of
Damn.
that? But like 2 whole trucks of cans of Coca. I think there were must have been like 5,000 cans of Coca-Cola. And I
Wow.
remember only two guys had to unpackage 2 big trucks of Coca-Cola. I was working
Mm.
like 10 hours that day. I was tired as hell. And I got
Well,
paid
so it was
like,
you and one other guy.
yeah, two big. Everybody, each of us had one truck.
Wow.
That took us a
God
lot of
damn.
time. And then we also had to put them in the mini bars, keep them cool, keep watch on the cans during the festival and everything. That was our job. And we got paid like $70 for half a day in the summer in the
Damn.
breezing hot, bro. And got paid like $70. That was my first job, my first money that I've made, and I must say that didn't give me a good feeling. I felt scammed, to be honest.
Mm.
I spent like $5 on on the train ride to the city and blah 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 and eating and everything. I made like $50 profit, and I was like, man, like today I made like $50 by fucking using my body and suffering for 10 hours. And I know that it was an
Crazy.
easy job, right? Just unpackaging was the bad part about it, and then just keeping an eye on the cans. And we were at the bar too, and all that stuff. But bro, the festivals full of sweaty, smelly people, and I hated it, bro. Yo,
Damn.
so I must say,
So
my
did that
first
kind of? Sorry, you go on.
that was my first money, like physical money, and that
Mm.
didn't give me a good feeling at all. And when I made my first $50 online, it was a completely different feeling because it took me like 2 hours of my work in comfortable at home. That's a completely different feeling.
Yeah, and it's something that you're kind of working on. It's like your own thing, your own kind of goal and purpose. Instead
Yeah.
of just working for some other fat guy that you don't even like, who's telling you to unpack Coca-Cola, for example,
Yeah.
for like $70.
Yeah.
Like, it's really it's two completely different things.
Oh, it's absolutely. And one of the good quotes I've heard, um it's not about how much money you make, it's about how fast you can make the money.
Mm,
I would say that's a
that's a
good
great
genius
quote.
quote because I don't know
Who's it
who
by?
said it. I forgot about it. I don't know who said it. I think it was someone in the real world. Um, the thing is, everybody can make $1,000. You know? No, actually, everybody can make $1,000,000 during their lifetime. If you take the
Mm,
normal guy during his lifetime, like 70 years, he made at least $1,000,000. Like, I think everybody made $1,000,000 during their whole lives. Like
yeah,
70
definitely.
years. But the only thing is, somebody makes $1,000,000 a day, and someone it takes 70 years, you know? So it's not about
Yeah, that's
how
a good way to
much
put it.
money. It's not about how much money, it's about how fast you can make it. And when I made those $70 within the 10 hours of physical labor, compare it to a gig online on copywriting, doing some descriptions for some products which took me like an hour and a half, 2 hours in the comfortable. My physical body was comfortable. I was not using my body heat to do the
Mm,
work. It's the same amount of money, but instead of 10 hours, I made it in 2 hours. That's something different. That's progress.
mm,
That is progress over there. And some
yeah,
of my
fully.
friends may say that it's only $70. I'm like, bro, the fact that I made it in 2 hours compared to before had it took me 10 hours. Like I did it 5 times as fast, it doesn't matter that it's only $70. It matters that I've progressed and that I'm moving
Fully.
forward. And in the future, instead of 2 hours, it will take me like 20 minutes.
Mm. Yeah, man. It's just as you said. It's just about progress.
Yeah,
Because as you said, like doing it for what 10 hours for $70, and
yeah.
you're standing up, you're sweaty, you're using your body instead of making it in. Even if it took 10 hours, but you said it took two. You're just at home, sitting down, just typing with your fingers. Like
Yeah,
they're two completely different things.
yeah, and I'd say you enjoy work when you're using your brain, not your body. I'd say
Mm.
you're enjoying it more.
Yeah, I agree.
No, you're
And I,
actually enjoying it. You're not just doing it for the money. You actually enjoy the process. That's the thing.
yeah, man.
uh,
I don't know what it is exactly about it. Maybe it just feels more purposeful, like you're making more of a difference rather than working at McDonald's at a drive-through and giving some fat guy a Big
you
Mac. Like
know what
that,
I
it
think?
doesn't change that much.
Yeah, you know what I think the difference is that you're less replaceable. Now the thing is, there is always a copywriter that can replace you, but the amount of people that can replace you is very, very highly decreased.
Mm.
Everybody, every single 12-year-old dumbass can unpackage Coca-Cola cans. Everybody. So the fact why didn't it feel purposeful was because I knew that I wasn't doing anything special. But when I did my first copywriting job, I knew that it took me like a month of really learning the skill and effort into learning the skill. And now nobody else, I mean, I'm sorry. Not everybody else can do this. That's the thing for me.
Mm. Yeah, because there's no skill behind unpacking Coca-Colas, but
Exactly.
there's a lot more skill behind copywriting.
Exactly, man. Fucking hell. Did you have any jobs? Physical jobs?
I actually see in my country, I'm not even old enough to get a job
Oh,
to like
shit.
sign up to McDonald's. But I mean, I've done like, of course, like little jobs for your dad or something. Like you
Yeah.
spend the day doing work around the house. Of course, it's not the same as a real job, but yeah, man. In a way, I kind of wish that I did experience like, even if it was for like a week, some
Mm,
shitty job because I feel like it would
yeah.
kind of have opened up my mind a little earlier to like, damn, I really don't want to work this.
Mm. Man, I had a few jobs, and I remember I absolutely hated it. Like I was constantly looking at the clock and I was like, "Man, when is this shit going to end finally, bro? I can't wait to get home and play Red Dead Redemption 2 or some shit." I didn't even think. I was so dumb that I didn't even think, how do I get out of this? No, I was thinking, how can I get some pleasure when I get home? I was
Mm,
I was
yeah.
so I was so literally slave minded. I was literally thinking like an idiot. I didn't even
Mm,
it didn't even cross my mind. How can I make this much money but faster and with less physical effort? It didn't even cross my mind. I don't know, for some reason.
yeah.
And
And I think it's also like when you're at some random drive-through job, you're not really focused. You're not in the moment trying to do your best.
mm,
But when you're at home, you're doing copywriting, you're using your brain, you're going all out. You're like, wow, I really need to deliver. I need to try my best to get this guy results. You know, it just feels more purposeful and fulfilling.
yeah. You know, the sad thing about it is that the majority of people actually live 40 years of their lives like this. They wake
Bro.
up. They go to their job. They go home. Their wife has cooked a shitty meal. Their children yell at them. They when it's evening time, their wife doesn't even want to have sex because she has a headache. So what he does, he goes to the bathroom, he jerks off, and then he goes to sleep. And his wife knows it because the bathroom smells of cum, and she loses more and more respect for him. And they live their lives like this until the day they die. And that's a that's I, actually feel sorry for these people because they didn't have that wake up call. They think it's normal. That's the thing about it. Like when I take a look at myself, when I was unpackaging those Coca-Cola cans, or when I was in a restaurant and working for my friend's dad restaurant, and I was also working like 8 hours a day, and it was shitty. I didn't feel awake, if I'm being honest. I thought like, okay,
Mm.
this is okay. This is normal. Like it's uncomfortable, but this is normal. Now, if I were to go a job, bro, I could not focus on it because I would be thinking about what would I be doing once I get home. How many people would I call when I get home? I'm gonna call 100 people. I'm gonna do as much as it takes to make some money online so I don't have to do this shitty job. But at the time, I wasn't even thinking about that. That didn't even cross my mind for some reason. So this is
Yeah.
why I actually feel sorry for people that work 9 to 5s their whole lives that don't realize it. I don't feel sorry for the people that do it. They watch Andrew Tate, they work their job, but they don't make progress. Because those people know that they are a slave, they know that they are a loser, but they are consciously not doing anything about it. But when someone is unconscious about it, that's when I feel sad about these people, and
Mm.
that's where I have pity for these people.
Yeah. To touch on that, I think the thing is that they realize that they hate their life. They're conscious about that side of things, but what they're not conscious about is that this isn't the only option. That
Mm.
there's other options where you don't have to be depressed and hate your life, and you can do something that you even sort of enjoy, and you make 10 times more off of, and still have time for your family.
Yeah, man, the amount of loser things fully grown adults do actually. Like, I really go on Reddit forums and I read about some dude. Like he says he had hasn't had he has been married for 20 years, but he hasn't had sex in like 3 years, and he jerks off
Damn, bro.
every night. And he goes to the bathroom, puts on the shower, pretends he's showering, but he sits on the toilet and jerks off for 30 minutes. And like, bro, that's so pathetic. Like, is he really like feeling good about that? I don't know.
No, yeah, that's the big difference between instant gratification and delaying gratification,
Yeah,
right there.
absolutely. Yo, most people actually go to school and then they go home. No, they are uncomfortable when they are at school. So they seek comfort. So they go to home. And they don't realize that they would have more comfort later if they chose to do a little bit more uncomfort, discomfort right now. You know, most people
Yeah,
face
yeah,
comfort as soon as they face a little bit of discomfort.
yeah, bro. And I think a discomfort. The thing about it is that it ends up leading to comfort, but when you're
Yeah,
always comfortable, it leads to discomfort. So in a way, it works the opposite way of what you'd think.
yeah, absolutely, man.
Mm.
Yo, what was your childhood like? How did you grow up?
Yeah. It was pretty peaceful. It was just a youthful, innocent childhood. I didn't grow up with like the richest family. We were like probably lower middle, maybe middle class. But I couldn't be more grateful, to be honest. I had all that I could ask for. I had a roof to sleep under. I had healthy food to eat. Um, yeah, I grew up also doing a lot of entrepreneurial stuff, like just wholesome stuff, like selling lemonade, selling my clothes, flipping shoes, just that sort of stuff that you kind of do in the beginning because you're like, oh, I'll get some pocket money to go buy Lego or something like that.
Yeah, man, that's nice.
Yeah,
Man,
bro.
I mean, when I was growing up, I don't really remember it because it was so fucking chaotic, I feel. Because I was born in Romania. I grew up until I was like 4 or 5 years old in Romania, and
Mm,
then my dad decided to move to Czech Republic because my dad found a good job here because of my uncle because he lived here like 5 years prior to that. And he had found my dad a better paying job, so he sold his house in Romania, the house he built, by the way. He sold
wow.
that house to buy two houses here. The same on it's one property, but it has two houses in here. And
Mm,
he bought it at a good price. And I remember, bro, okay, maybe I remember like since I was like 5 years old, probably like properly. I don't remember much of Romania. Like we still go there almost every summer. We go visit our family and stuff. We go there this year in July, I believe.
mm,
I remember my brother, who's 6 years older than me, he said how he really felt the poverty, you know. We were really fucking poor in Romania, and it got even worse in Czech Republic for the first 2 years because in Romania dad had a good paying job and or a decent paying job. Like we always had food on the table. But then we
mm,
moved to Czech Republic when everything is more expensive. He doesn't speak the language. My brother, he was going to school, didn't speak the language. He was like in third grade already, or fourth or fifth grade. He didn't speak the language. I went to the first grade, didn't speak a single word in Czech, and my mom
wow.
neither. And so my dad had his job thanks to our uncle, and he was working some job. I don't actually think it was a mechanic's job, and it paid like okay for one person, but to sustain the whole family it was hard. So what my dad started to do is taking the skill from that mechanic's job and doing
Mm.
freelancing, like flipping cars. He took
Oh, interesting.
freelancing. He took the side hustles to a whole new level. So he bought a car. Within 2 days, he had it fixed, had it sold for a profit, and immediately bought another one. Bro, he was flipping like 3 or 4 cars a week. Like, bro, every day
Damn.
there wasn't a minute he didn't work. So that was like fucking crazy. So
Wow.
I really,
He was doing that full time.
yeah, he was going to his job. He was working like 8 or 9 hours a day, and then he went home. He didn't watch TV. He didn't even have time. He was working until the minute he went to sleep. He didn't watch
Wow.
TV. He didn't do anything else. He went to his job, then went home, worked on the car, then sold it a day or two after it, and then bought another one and then fix that car. And that was what he was doing for the first year until my mom had the chance to grasp a little bit of the language and get a job. And then we were
Wow.
doing pretty well. Like, then we were doing okay. We always had food on the table ever since mom got a job too. But I remember that our uncle had to help us financially when my dad only relied on his job. But then a few months after that, he started flipping cars. We were doing okay. So that was
Mm.
actually it. Man, right now, looking back at it, I do not fucking fathom how much as a father he loved his family because he was doing it every day for a whole year. He was basically working like 16, 17 hours a day because he went home from his job and worked home hours and hours on end. How he
Wow,
did
bro.
it, I don't fucking know. So it's funny to me when I see these guys my age, your age, 15, 16, 17, saying talking about discipline. Bro, you wanna know fucking discipline is working 365 days, no days off, and whenever he had a day off from his job, he was working like 10 hours in the backyard on the car. And doing that for a whole year and sleeping like 5 hours a night. And bro, I don't know how he did it. How he managed to do that.
Wow. Now that's real discipline right there.
Yeah,
That's really what it is about, like fatherhood, just fatherhood love for his family.
yeah,
Is that they'll do basically anything to give the best life to his family. And that's what most people really need to wake up and be super grateful for. Just go up to their parents, go up to their dad, and just say, thank you, you know?
yeah. I guarantee you that if you think about what your father had to go through, there's a lot of things that you couldn't have done and that you should thank him for, I believe. Everybody has that, I think.
Yeah, man. I think it's just fully necessary to be grateful for your parents. And it takes nothing to just go up to them and say, thank you, and just give them a hug. For
Exactly.
because that will change probably their whole month just by you really showing the gratitude for them, because they worked hours upon hours and hours and hours just for you, so you could have a good life, so you could
Mm.
eat, so you could get a good job, or just make a good amount of money when you're older.
Yeah, man, a single thank you. Although I know why a lot of people don't do it because they think it's cringe or they feel awkward telling that their
Mhm.
parents. It really means a lot to them, and to them it's not cringe. It's just to you because of this modern
Absolutely.
day bullshit where um kids are disrespectful to their parents and it seems normal. It's not fucking normal. If you did that 50 years ago, you would get your ass whooped.
But
So yeah,
but now
man.
they'll just say, "Oh, just go to your room." Like the punishments are a lot lower now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, did you have any mentors along the way, like online? Because I think a lot of us have
Yeah,
mentors in our fathers and our family, older brothers or whatever. But
yeah.
anyone online, like of these self improvement YouTubers, if you looked up to any of them.
Mm. Yeah. As for online mentors, I actually, of course, like no paid ones or anything. But when it came to YouTubers and influencers, just people on social media, I'd say my biggest one was definitely Hamza, like
Mm.
a year, maybe 2 years back. Um, yeah, I saw one of his videos on my homepage of YouTube, and I clicked on it. I forgot what it was. It was something to do with, I don't know, 7 ways to improve your life or something like that. I clicked on it,
Mm.
and I just fell down this rabbit hole of going through the rest of his videos, and that's what really got me hooked on at the start when it came to improving myself. And yeah, to be honest, I couldn't be more grateful for that. So he was definitely the main one.
Hmm. I actually agree. I also find um a lot of value in Hamza's video. Hamza
Mm,
was one of the biggest shifts for me. Obviously, not the biggest one. The biggest one was Andrew. Andrew Tate he changed my life upside down. But
mm,
Hamza really, I felt more relatable to him. I felt more relatable to him. And the thing is, he is not speaking to his fans. He is speaking to his younger self, and he's just making it public. And that's the
Mm,
thing that I think that people resonate with the most, because you either love the person or you hate the person. And I think that's
mm.
what giving your audience a really polarized opinion on you. I think that's probably the best thing you can do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you need to be polarizing as someone online with an audience. You need to be polarizing because, as you said, there'll be a lot of people that hate what you say, but the people who do like you, they're gonna love you. They're gonna binge your videos. They're going to turn your notifications on. They'll buy your stuff. Yeah, man. I think it's fully necessary and unavoidable to be polarizing nowadays.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Hmm.
The thing is, Hamza seems like an older brother, I'd say, but the way Andrew speaks, especially for guys that didn't have father figures in their lives, but even for those that had, like me, I respect my dad a lot. But
Hmm.
there's something about Andrew, like how tough he is. He really feels like a father if you're a teenager, and he really, you can tell that this man actually has a genuine interest in improving your life, because he's not trying to make money off of you. He became famous way longer after he became rich. He genuinely is trying to improve the world and help people on that transition from being a slave to being free. And you can see the authenticity, and everything he speaks about, he has lived it and experienced it himself. So that's probably the reason why I actually started paying attention when he spoke.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree here. He was the one who got me into starting my first business, actually.
Mm.
It was a mixture of him and Hamza, but when it came to business and stuff, it was by far Andrew Tate was the one that really got me into it. As you
Mm.
said, he was kind of like a father figure to me,
Mm.
like a second one. And yeah, I think he really helped me with the trajectory of my my journey. Uh, yeah, man.
Mm. What advice would you give to someone that's only starting out, like building his own business, trying to start making money online? What would be your advice?
Yeah, bro. So I could probably write like a whole book on this. But if I had to summarize it in like three main things, I would say stick to one business model.
Mm.
Don't expect results immediately. And as for starting a business, the biggest thing is just solving problems, relieving pain. Just learn a skill and master it, and learn how to market yourself. Those would be the biggest things when it comes to starting a business and making it successful. Because, yeah, especially big emphasis on sticking to one business model. Because I know lots of people, they'll switch a business model as soon as they see some other drop shipping on TikTok, and they'll switch
Mm.
after 1 month. But the thing is, you can really succeed in whatever business model you want to if you stick to it and you be patient.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can either master one thing or you can half ass five other things. And
Mm,
it's up to you if you want to make $5 in five ways, or if you want to make $1,000 in one way. Like, this is a no-brainer, but it's really what it is actually. If
yeah,
you
of course.
really focus on one thing, you're gonna become good at it, and it in a practical way you can really apply this to the gym. If you if you do leg days and you do Bulgarian split squats, leg press, leg extensions, normal squats, hack squats, everything, you're gonna have tiny legs, bro. Only if you're
Mm,
really advanced, you actually can diversify. But I'd say if you're trying to grow big legs, only do squats and leg extensions, two
mm.
exercises, and become
Just keep it
really,
simple.
really good. Yeah, because your body really adapts first of all to the I'm trying to think of what word I wanted to use. Your body just adapts the exercise, and I think that if
Like
you,
muscle memory.
yeah, and if you're trying to do six different exercises and you're trying out everything and you're doing it every single time, I'm not saying you can't try everything once, but if you every single train you switch it up, your body can't really adapt to anything.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, it also kind of applies to like, let's say with reps and sets. If you
Yeah.
did, damn, like 20 sets of 5 push-ups, you're not going to grow your arms at all. Your back, your triceps, whatever. It's not going to grow. But if you do 5 sets of until failure push-ups, that's when you're really going to see the best progress.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. And it's the same in
Mm,
business, bro. You should only focus on one thing alone. So guys,
yeah,
please
fully.
please take Elio's advice because it's a really good advice actually. It's a big mistake that happened to the best of the best. Most people actually made the mistake that they tried everything and nothing worked. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And you'll be so ahead if you just simply stick to one thing and stand out from the crowd of people that are doing 20 different things.
Do you meditate?
Yeah. I do pretty much every day. I do probably between 5 to 10 minutes every day. Some days I'll do 5 when I'm in a rush. Days where I get more time, I'll do 10 minutes. And yeah, I think it's one of the best habits that I have right now. It really helps you focus your mind, help you stay calm, help you think logically. There's so many things you can learn from just meditating. How about you?
I also meditate every day. About 5 to 10 minutes is just the same as you. Like
Hmm.
I had times when I was like trying to meditate 30 minutes every single day, and I lasted for one day. Then the second day I didn't even bother. And the thing is, try to do it every day for 2 minutes, then 3 minutes after a week, and really start slow.
Exactly.
Most people actually overestimate their capabilities because their ego, but they overestimate like 5 minutes. I can do 20 minutes. Yeah, you can once or twice, but you can't sustain it for a whole year every single day. So think
Exactly.
about
And it's the
long term.
consistency that really builds up.
Hamza actually gave a really good analogy. Like, what do you think is best? To brush your teeth for 5 minutes, 7 days a week, or to brush your teeth for 5 hours, one day a week? What's better?
Man, I was
Yeah,
actually just about to bring that up. That's the
really?
perfect analogy that fits to it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like one thing. And meditation, obviously, it helps you focus on one thing at a time, which is so great.
Mm,
Bro, how many times I catch myself when I have my phone on my desk? Bro, when I watch a fucking documentary or anything, I literally have this fucking unconscious side of my brain that automatically takes my phone up and just starts scrolling before I fucking automatically immediately realize what I'm doing. But
yeah, bro. It's just built into your brain.
I have to consciously realize that because I do it unconsciously. And meditation helps you being conscious in the conscious moment.
Mm. It helps you realize when you're having a thought. It's like when you read a book. A lot of people they're reading a sentence and then they'll have to reread it because they were having some random thought about some past experience or something like that. And they get nowhere with the book. They read the book hella slow. It takes them
Mm.
months and months and months. And yeah, as you said, meditation helps so much with those types of moments. Even outside of just focusing, it helps you so much, man.
Mm. I actually agree with you. Look, I'm gonna be honest. Like sometimes I really just meditate for 3 minutes in one day, And I know that's pretty low, but I genuinely I feel much better meditating for 3 minutes, knowing that I got it done today, rather than thinking yesterday I did 10 minutes, so today I'm just gonna skip. Take a day off of meditation, bro. I feel much better doing it 5 minutes yesterday, 3 minutes today, than doing 10 minutes once upon a time.
Bro, it's all about the habit of
Yeah,
waking up or before you go to sleep and just putting the timer on or whatever it is and meditating.
yeah, man. In today's age, all of the guys my age, they can't really focus on anything. I've noticed. They cannot really focus. Like
Yeah,
a
bro.
guy from my class, he actually asked me, "Hey, bro, um, what would you, what should I watch to learn the best things about copywriting?" And I sent him a 4 hour guide to copywriting. 4 hours. I don't know how was I so naive to think that he was gonna watch through all of it. I asked him, "Did you watch it all yesterday?" "No, man. I watched like 5 minutes of it, and then I was like, I didn't watch the whole thing." I'm like, "Bro, what did you
Bro,
do for the rest 4 hours?" "Well, I played League of Legends," and I'm like, "Bro, what the fuck?"
it's crazy, man.
Like, man,
They just
that
don't have that amount of drive to really achieve what they want to.
I actually think that guy actually wanted it, but he was looking for an easy way. And the thing is that I tried to get to, that guy needed a meditation more than anyone else. He couldn't focus for more than 5 minutes. I watched that 4 hour guide twice because I found a lot of value in it. I didn't just Netflix my way through it. I took notes and I rewatched it. So,
Wow, man.
yeah, if people in 2024 can't pay attention for more than 5 minutes, bro, where do you think our generation will be like in 10, 20 years from now, bro?
Yeah, bro. Uh, to be honest, I don't think it's going too good so far. I think, if anything, it'll just keep going downhill, to be honest. At least in the West. I think it'll be kind of half and half. Half the world, like the Western countries, will be going downhill with all this woke bullshit, and of course the attention spans keep going down, while the places that are out of the West, like Eastern Europe, parts in Asia, South America, those types of countries, I think they'll either stay the same or get slightly better, to be honest. But I'd say the West is on the downfall, unfortunately.
Mm. It looks like mental health will be going down the hill, actually. Especially
Mm,
in men, I think. It
yeah,
looks
and it's
that
sad,
way.
bro.
Yeah. A lot of guys actually lack discipline and desire to being successful, to their goals. A lot of guys don't actually have a purpose. They don't even have a goal. They don't even know what they want, you know?
Bro,
And
completely.
yeah, what would be your advice to stay disciplined? How do you keep productive most of the time?
Yeah, man. Uh, the biggest thing, you just touched on it right now, actually, is kind of just finding your purpose and just knowing that the actions that you take today will lead to a better future. Just delaying gratification, those sort of things. Because when you, let's say, you try to meditate for 10 minutes or whatever, but you don't know about how this is going to help you, you don't know about why you're doing it, you don't really evaluate anything,
Mm,
you're not going to keep it a habit. You're going to do it for 3 days and then quit and get bored. But when you know that this is actually going to help you, you know what you're doing it for, you figure out your purpose in a way,
mm.
it's going to help so much more, like 10 times more.
You know, school is fucking up big time. in this thing because you don't know why you're doing your homework, why you're learning about what do kids even learn about at school, bro?
Bro, like
Some
math, science.
yeah, bro, some Pythagorean fucking sentence which
Nah,
is x plus y equals z. Like, bro, what the why the where are you gonna use this? So it's that confusion that makes kids actually not wanting to learn these things, you know?
yeah, bro. It's like they're just doing it to do it, and they can't even stay consistent with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I wanted to touch up really quickly on women. Uh,
Hmm.
what's your relationships with women? Like, do you have a girlfriend right now, or what was your experiences
Uh,
in the past?
yeah, no, not currently. I've dated many times in the past,
Mhm.
but no, not currently because I don't know. I just have more of a focus on my work, and in Western countries like I'm from New Zealand, and it's in the West. There really isn't that many high quality women. You know, they're all I don't know brand through and stuff. So yeah, man, I
Mm.
don't know. It's a little tough, but I always have like an open eye. You know, I'm not going to like close it down immediately if I see a woman that's actually worth getting to know.
Yeah, the thing is, most guys on self improvement, they think that women are always a waste of time, which if you're planning to have a future where no family, no wife, sure, it's a waste of time. And
Hmm,
chasing women is a waste of time looking for a woman.
of
But
course.
if you let women come to you, if you're such a brilliant guy that women just throw themselves at you and want to give you their pussy, then I'm like, bro, give them a chance and see you evaluate for yourself if she's good enough for you or not. And
Yeah, exactly.
what happens if you're one, maybe not one, but if you're 2, 3, 4 years on self improvement, your inbox is actually full of girls, and girls actually, you've been going to the gym for 3 years, you've been boxing, you've been working on your income, you've been working on your mental and physical health, you look great, you speak like a man, you have good finances, you have a good network of people.
Hmm.
Compare that to a normal guy your age who hasn't done none of those things. Of course, girls are gonna see you as a top 1% man for your age if you're a teenager because you're the best of the best. You're actually their best option. I mean,
Hmm.
their other options probably a skinny neck, skinny wrist, skinny fat guy that's smoking weed. Like, it's not a better option, you know? So, of
Yeah, bro.
course, yeah, man. But then
Yeah,
also,
that's the way to go about it.
yeah. Also, the thing is, when girls throw themselves at you, it's kind of hard to evaluate which ones are actually worth your time because there are obviously some girls, bro. Number one red flag is when a girl is too early on sex. Now,
Hmm.
obviously, if you fuck a girl on the first date, it's not necessarily it doesn't automatically mean she's a whore. But if she's literally never met you in real life and she's already inviting you to her house or something, you should think, is this really the first time she's doing it? Most probably not.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Bro, some girl actually invited me to sleep over at her house and I've never even met her. Like, what the fuck?
Man, there's got to
Obviously,
be something wrong in her head.
obviously I accepted. I slept with her, and then
Hmm.
I didn't reply to her the second day. And yeah, man, but I knew that she had a big body count. I knew that she was probably a hoe. But it's the fact that I didn't fall in love with her because a girl that's offering her body as a currency, you know,
Hmm.
I don't really find that very attractive. I don't find a girl with more than that slept with more than 5 guys attractive.
No, no,
So,
same here, man. In a way, it's kind of just disgusting. Like, I don't really want to be around that type of woman.
you know, I actually don't mind if it's genuinely not love, if you're genuinely just sleeping with her and you actually are just both enjoying the time, but you're not hurting her feelings, she's not hurting yours. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that if you know it's gonna end. But the wrong thing is when one of you falls deep in love and you actually are hurting the person without them knowing
Yeah,
about it. And although it's usually girls doing it, it's nowadays even guys on self improvement that do this. Yeah.
yeah, man. Yeah, that's unfortunate too.
Mm. Like, okay, I think that if you actually think that this girl is a high quality girl, I think you shouldn't really rush to have sex with her. I don't think there's any rush with it. I think that
Hmm.
it's okay to go on a second and a third date before you sleep with her. Now, if you sleep with her on the first night, I don't think there's I don't think you should cut her off, but I think you should give her a little bit less attention and you should um dial down like 10%, 20% because that shows that she puts her trust into you a little too early, which is not
Hmm.
often a good sign.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a red flag. So yeah, I think, as you said, you shouldn't immediately cut her off, but you should kind of just humble her a little bit and start questioning stuff a little bit in your head. Just keep your guard up a little bit.
Mm. But then there's another thing that guys guys take body count too seriously, but they don't take dishonesty seriously. Let me give an example that Tristan Tate gave this example. If a
Hmm.
girl, 25 years old, and you go on a first date with her, and she's honest about you. She says that she slept with 20 guys. She was a stripper. She needed to make money. She was broke, and she slept with guys. She sold her body, and she was a prostitute as well. That's a better girl than a girl that says her body count is 2, but then her body count is 6 in reality.
Hmm.
Because it's not 6, it's 6,000. So,
You gotta times it by three.
yeah, it's actually a green flag when a girl is honest about something which could be shameful. That's actually a green flag because it shows that she values honesty. A girl that will
Hmm.
lie to you, even about something small, but if she still lies to you, even if it's something insignificant, she's most probably gonna lie about something important down the line. If she's gonna lie about the price of her t-shirt, then she's gonna lie about how many dudes fucked her. So keep that in
Bro,
mind,
that's a
I'd
great
say.
point
Yeah.
because that's already in her mindset. No matter what she's lying about, it's already in her mindset, and it's
Mhm.
already more likely for it to happen again.
Yeah. Absolutely. Who should people nowadays look up to?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think the best case scenario is looking up to their fathers, or at least
Yeah,
a father-like figure. But because your father is the only man in the world who wants to see you do better than him. There's no
exactly.
one else in the world, not your best friend, not your big brother, not your little brother, no one else. It's only him. So yeah, that's the best case scenario. But of course, that's not the what's possible for everyone. There are some people with fathers that are, I'm not sure, alcoholics. They have problems or whatever.
Yeah.
But Yeah, at that point, then your best case would be to look up to someone probably online. Someone like Andrew Tate, someone like Hamza, Tristan Tate, those types of people, because those will, in a way, act as your father like figure and guide you the right way in life.
I'd say someone that is not afraid to be honest with you and to hurt your feelings and to insult you in a way if that's actually beneficial to you. And they know that
Mm,
if they call you a broke loser, it's gonna have an impact on you because it's gonna hurt your feelings. And that pain, a little bit, that's gonna make the desire of becoming rich much, much higher and much, much
yeah,
stronger
totally,
rather
totally.
than
And
if
they mean it.
they. Yeah,
They
they
mean
mean
it in
it,
like the best
exactly.
way for you.
Yeah. Rather than they just saying it's okay to be broke, but you can try to become rich. No, actually, Andrew Tate, okay, you need to become rich. It's not okay. People like me are laughing at you, brokies. You need to become rich because you don't care about your family if you're not rich. Because you're selfish. You only care about what you need, and you don't care that your fucking parents are tired from their job and they want to retire. But you don't care about your parents.
Bro,
You don't
absolutely.
care about your siblings. You don't care about your children. You don't care about your future wife. You don't even care enough about yourself to become rich. So it's utter and utter selfishness and narcissism and fucking love with yourself to be rich. Another thing that's narcissism, depression. Being depressed is narcissistic as fuck and it's
Bro,
selfish.
that's a great point to be honest.
Yeah, you're just thinking about yourself and how I feel, and my feelings are hurt, and me. Bro, you have to understand there are people relying on you or that will be relying on you as a man. It's bad enough when a fully grown man commits suicide and leaves his children on this earth and abandons them and everybody ever loved them.
Mm,
But I'd say that it's even worse when a young man, 15 to 20 years old, kills himself. And then our future wife, future children, he robbed them of their lives because he was selfish enough and he was too weak to try harder. And that's pathetic. That's fucking
bro,
pathetic. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna piss on your grave if you commit suicide, bro.
bro, and that I don't know how that's controversial in a way,
I don't
because
give a
I'm
fuck.
sorry, but you're mentally you're mentally ill if you genuinely are going to do
Absolutely.
something like that and put your family down, your future family, your friends, your current family, just put them down because you were feeling sad.
Yeah.
That's what's really disgusting.
Mm, absolutely. It's something different when someone is depressed and he's not bothering people that can't help him with this, but he's actually seeking professional help and he's trying to fix the situation. He's not just like,
Mm,
guys, I'm depressed, I don't feel like doing it. And he's just crying to them and moaning about their problems and talking about themselves. But instead, the second person, he actually doesn't bother his parents, his wife with this. They don't bother them with them because he knows that they can't help him. He
mm.
tries to fix it, tries to go to a professional, tries to get to the root of the problem, tries to get rich, tries to fix his mental state, you know?
Rather than just complaining about it and not
Yeah,
doing anything.
yeah, absolutely. I feel like too many men are too selfish in today's age.
Mm, I completely agree. And we need to do something about this, to be honest, man. Because at this rate, as we were talking about before, it's going mental health in the West is going to just keep going down.
You know, I think the answer to this is actually religion because God is love and love is God. And without
Mm,
love, people don't have a deeper purpose, you know? And I feel like when you're doing it hedonistically only for yourself to enjoy the short term pleasure of being able to afford the most expensive prostitute in the city and stuff like dumb shit. But when you're actually doing it to take care of the people you love and to enjoy your life, I think that's a deeper why, and you actually even try harder.
Mm. And you'll just be in a better mental state, which will help the people around you more.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, I got a couple of rapid fire questions, and then I think we can end this up because
Yeah, for
it has
sure.
been a great conversation, but I've got some questions I still want to get over. So, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Who do you think should win the US elections in today's year?
Okay. Should win, or who do I think will end up winning?
Should win. Let's be
All right.
optimistical on the end.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I definitely Trump because I mean, bro, Joe Biden is going to pass out one time in an interview. He's going to just
Man.
faint randomly. He loses his words, and he's not even making the decisions himself. But
Yeah.
like, man, and I think to be honest, I think that Trump will end up winning, just because of the way
Really?
that people have seen, the way that Joe Biden has been taking care of America. It's crazy, and yeah, bro, I'm not sure, but if Joe Biden wins, that's how you know that it's all rigged.
That's how you know that slavery is coming, bro. Because if Joe wins, like, what the fuck is real? Actually, the elections,
Bro,
obviously, everybody knows they aren't real and that
of
they are
course.
obviously faked. But if Joe wins, what will the future actually look like? Nah, man, we need Trump, and I actually hope for Trump. Because I know that he's a capable president and he's a president that can actually make it. And why do I care it? Why do I care about it? I live in Europe because US actually infiltrates the whole world. So who's the leader
Yeah, that's
of the United States is pretty much 50% the leader of the whole world, if you think about it.
true.
And in a dream world, I wish we would have someone like Vladimir Putin being the president of the United States because he's so capable. Bro, do you know that? Doesn't it seem weird that in the school in the United States, people learn about LGBT, about bumming in the ass, about
Disgusting, bro.
women being men, men being women, but in Russia, kids, 10-year-old kids, in PE in school, they go to a boxing ring and they spar each other in school. That's
And that's
actually
that's so
why
much better, bro.
they actually
That benefits the
prepare.
childhood so much more.
Exactly. So yeah, man. Hopefully, Trump. Is
Mm.
happiness the purpose of life?
Nah, definitely not. The purpose of life as a man is simply to create, like to go through pain, learn, and leave a positive impact on this earth that we live on. I'd say that is by far just what we've been put here by whoever you believe. Uh, yeah, I think that's why we're here to just leave a positive impact and make change for the better.
You know what? I actually think that you should accept life as it comes. Like, you should be wanting to experience the whole spectrum of emotions, not just happiness, if I'm being honest. Like, if
Mm,
something bad, something annoys you, you should be okay. This is something new. This is a new experience. Like, why would you want to be happy all the time? You should want to experience every emotion and not just happiness. And then there are
yeah,
people that
exactly.
want to be happy, don't end up happy because they only get used to one emotion and they depreciate it this way.
Yeah, it's like chasing happiness will lead to depression, to being sad, to bad mental health. It's crazy. I mean, chasing happiness it leads to a horrible life.
Man, how many bad decisions someone makes because they want to be happy short term, so they do drugs, alcohol, dumb shit, you know?
Hmm. Yeah,
Mm.
it's crazy.
Do you have haters? If yes, then what did they say?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course I have haters. Basically, everyone has haters no matter what they do, no matter what they say. Uh, they're just like the usual ones, like the little dumb kids at school, or those like basement tweeters. They just say like the usual stuff. They'll, for example, disagree on my opinion and then say something bad about me, and I don't know. It really doesn't affect me. I don't let it affect me. If anything, I see it as more motivation to keep going.
Yeah, man. I mean, haters are always gonna hate, and usually it actually comes from insecurity. It actually does because
Yeah, I would say 99% of the time it comes from insecurity.
they actually see what you're doing and they think to themselves, why don't I do this? And then they start going further down the rabbit hole if they have any sort of self reflection, which most of them don't. But those that
Hmm.
do, those hate you the most because they know that, okay, I'm not capable of doing this, and this guy is. So instead of asking him and trying to learn something from him, no, I'm gonna fucking hate on him and try to drag him down with me. And people
Bruh,
like you and me, they can't really drag us down with them because you've already
exactly.
decided, you know?
And we just don't let it affect us.
Exactly.
They do their little thing, they waste their time, but at the end of the day, it's not changing our lives in any way.
Yeah. What's the number one turn off in a pitch?
Damn, that's a great question. I would say I'd say two things. It's being too salesy and just sounding really robotic and inauthentic. Just not sounding authentic. Like they wrote it with ChatGPT or something, you know?
Both mistakes that I've done.
To be honest, same here. The first couple of weeks when I was starting, I was like, why is no one replying to me? But I was using
Mm,
them uh, AI to write my pitches. So
mm.
yeah, those are the two biggest things.
Authenticity is actually important, and not just in
Yeah,
pitching, but
fully.
in even if you're trying to be a creator online or anything. Authenticity is actually very, very important.
Mm. You need to mean what you say as well. Like you genuinely want to help the person
Yeah.
that you're reaching out to, not just think about your benefit. Oh, I want to make this money, but also, oh, I want to make them money, and on the side, I'll make me money.
Are entrepreneurs narcissists?
Um, I wouldn't use the word narcissistic. Probably people who aren't entrepreneurs would call us narcissistic, but I'd say to a certain extent, we need to be slightly selfish. As in, we need to believe in ourselves to a crazy extent. Like, be possibly overly confident that we will make it, that this will work out. You know? Not just like half assing it, kind of.
I agree. I agree with you completely. You have to
Mm,
want it and you have to believe it.
exactly. You can't let the outside world tell you it's not going to work out and just listen to that. You need to be in your own mind thinking this will work out.
Yeah, and they're gonna try very, very hard to tell you and to convince you that it's not gonna work. That's the weirdest
Mm.
thing. Instead of convincing themselves that it can work, they'd rather spend their energy into convincing you that it is not gonna work, which is the weirdest thing. It's actually kind of gay if you think about it.
No, it is. To be honest, I find it so weird. They waste their own time to drag you down, and they get no benefit out of it. And a lot of the
Yeah.
time, they don't even end up dragging you down, especially with people like us with this type of mindset.
Mm.
Yeah, it simply doesn't work.
Yeah, man. Do you travel?
I mean, Of course, I still live with my family and stuff. I'm only 15. Uh, but yeah, me and my family would travel. I mean, very, very rarely. Like as I said before, I mean, my family isn't the richest, but we'll go to another country close by every few years or so. But yeah, we're not in we don't have quite the money to go wherever we want.
Wait up, country nearby. Isn't New Zealand a fucking island?
Yeah, yeah, like it's crazy because even Australia, which is the country right next to us, is like a 4-hour flight. It's still
Hmm.
pretty far away. So yeah, it's kind of weird, man.
Mm. Yeah, I've only traveled the road from Romania to Czech Republic and from Czech Republic to Romania. That's the only four countries I've ever visited: is Czechia, Slovakia, Hungary, and Romania. So yeah, I'm looking, bro. As soon as I turn 18, bro, I'm gonna travel a lot more.
Same here. You also learn quite a lot from that if you use the time
Mm.
valuably when you travel.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. What do you know that the most common man doesn't know?
I would say just knowing the path that I kind of want to go down in life. Knowing
Mm.
not exactly what path, but I know the main idea of what I want to do, what I want to help others with, uh just the direction that I want to take my life down. Like there are a lot of 20-year-olds that still don't know what they want out of life. They're just living day to day mindlessly, playing video games after they get back home from their job that they hate, and they just have no direction. They've never considered what they actually want in their future. So yeah, I would say that's probably the main thing is just the direction that I want to go down.
Mm. Yeah. Knowing your purpose is a thing that can take a lot of time um
Mm.
to actually realize and
Yeah,
think
it's a
about
tough
it.
one.
Yeah.
And I mean, it always evolves as well. Even if it's slightly, it always is moving around, changing goals, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. What's the biggest lie you ever heard?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, there are a lot of people and gurus out there that say hard work is how success is achieved, which isn't completely a lie, but hard work alone, it won't make you achieve success. You won't
I
become successful from
know
just working
I
hard
know a
every day.
lot of I know a lot of McDonald's workers that they work actually pretty hard if you're being
Bro,
honest.
they're the hardest working people on earth,
Yeah.
and they are not successful whatsoever.
Keep
But yeah, man, I
continuing.
think you need to also work hard on the right things to become successful.
Mm. Yeah, man. It's actually I argued to say that you need to first work smart and then add the hard work. Because
Completely.
if you add the hard work first, you're gonna be wasting a lot of energy and a lot of time into it. Firstly, try to work smart on something, and if you see that it's working, then add a little bit of more momentum, more energy into it, put more
Mm,
effort into it. Do the smart work first, and do that work hardly. That's my
yeah,
advice.
that's great advice right there. I think everyone watching this right now, they should really consider what they're working hard on currently and think about if it's actually good what they're working on, if it's
Mm.
actually realistic. Instead of just working hard on some random stuff, working hard on 20 different things, but just really taking a step back, thinking about stuff, and finding one thing to really go all the way out on.
But if they are even working hard on anything these days, guys don't even work hard on anything. Not even in
That's crazy.
video games, bro. Even in video games that they play 10 hours a day, they play it on easy difficulty because they don't want to
Right.
have they don't want the video game to be difficult, bro. That's fucking
And they
pussy
use
ass
hacks
mindset.
and stuff. It's crazy.
Bro, how gay is it to use fucking to use cheats in video games, bro?
It's
That
crazy,
completely defies the whole masculine competition, bro.
bro.
You want to have a fair fight so you can prove to someone that you're better than them. That's the whole
Yeah,
point behind
exactly. Like, if you're going to play video games in the first place, which
it.
you should not be doing, but if you're going to play it, at least play it by the purpose of the game.
Mm, yeah. What's your favorite quote?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it changes all the time, but one that I'm liking a lot right now, and I mean really thinking about, is a quote by Socrates. It's something along the lines of, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing,"
Hmm.
which has really opened my mind up recently, to be honest, because it's more so it's like about just being open to learn stuff rather than
Hmm.
having this huge ego, thinking you know
Absolutely.
everything in the world.
Yeah. I mean, Socrates has a whole lot of very good quotes, if I'm being honest.
He does. He was a really smart person, to be honest.
Absolutely. My favorite quote, everybody knows this, and this one almost never changes. My unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. Emory Andrew Tate II,
Wow,
Andrew Tate's father, he was a genius, man. And yeah,
wow, man.
that quote is just genius. And he has so many good quotes like I allow manipulation to find out where my enemy wants me to go, then I use my mind to break the trap and punish the perpetrators. That's also a very good
Wow.
quote. You have to know
He was
where
such a
your
smart man.
Yeah, you have to know where your enemy wants you to go so you don't end up there on accident. So they
Hmm.
can't trick you into it. That's a very good quote. And a lot of wisdom from that one.
Wow.
Would you rather have
Definitely.
would you rather have $1 million or 1 million followers instantly?
Um, damn. I would really say probably 1 million follow. Nah. I'd probably say $1 million
Wait a
because I feel
second.
like I could turn.
Yeah,
Hmm.
okay, go on.
Alright. I'd pick probably the 1 mil because I feel like I could turn that into a lot more than 1 million if I have that amount of startup just ready to invest to.
So $1 million or followers?
No, dollars.
Mm.
But to be honest, it doesn't matter a whole lot. If you know you have the skills for either one, it really doesn't matter because
Exactly.
both of them are completely capable of being turned into a lot more of
Mm.
$1 million. But I mean, it also matters about the quality of followers.
Mm. Absolutely.
Mm,
I would say it doesn't matter which one you pick because these two can
exactly.
correlate each other. You can make $1 million into 1 million followers. You can just post high. You can invest that money into good. You can do high quality content with the money. You can actually invest into better camera, better microphones, better things, and then
Mm,
invest a lot of money to advertisement and to get your name out there. You can use that money to network with famous people and the million followers, it's easy. You can sell them something that will bring value to them. So this way they recommend you to someone else and you can make $1 million in a couple of weeks, months, depends on how good your product is and how much value you're
yeah, fully.
providing.
You just need to
So,
have the brain cells. If you have at least a few brain cells, you should be able to turn either into a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. Is reading books a waste of time?
Nah, definitely not. Um, I used to think that it was sort of a waste of time, probably about a year ago, but recently I've picked up books like Atomic Habits. That's one that I'm currently reading, and I've been finding so much value from it. There's just really so much to take in from books, and I'm pretty sure I have a list somewhere of books that I want to get. So no, absolutely not. There's just something about books that will help you expand your knowledge a lot more than some 10-minute YouTube video.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think that you shouldn't read that many books if you're broke. I think that you should
Mm,
only read um a few books that will really help you a lot. But I don't think you should be reading 50 books every 2 months. I don't think that's really
totally.
high ROI. I think it's better to take action, get used to taking action, to read a book and actually act on that book and start
Mm.
making habits of those the lessons you learn in those books.
Mm. Not
So
just reading it to read it and not do anything with that knowledge.
not just Netflix your way through the books.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'd say The Millionaire Fastlane, a whole lot about entrepreneurship and finance will teach you.
I've heard
Um,
so many good things.
yeah, man, The Way of the Superior Man, masculinity, how to be a man, how
Of
to
course.
act like a man, really. And let me think. This time is different. 8 centuries of financial mistakes. I think that
Mm.
if you read these three books, you're gonna be ready for a lot of things that will come your way.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Those are also great, just kind of starting points as books.
Yeah,
They're not too complicated. You don't need to be some genius to
exactly.
read them. You can just read them, take it in, not just waste your time reading it, but really take in the information and take action. Write it down, take action
Yeah.
right after reading it. And that's the way to go about reading books.
Absolutely. Or just read the Bible. That will teach you so many things.
Mm,
That
fully.
has about 1500 pages, so be ready because it's gonna be a long journey. I'm on my way to reading the Bible. I'm on my like 30th page. Like I'm really going slow with it because it's a hard process. I read a page, I don't understand it. I go on Reddit forums, I go on Twitter trying to find someone that can explain these things to me, trying to find the deeper meaning before in each page. And the Bible is a really hard book um to read, but if you're a Christian, God wants you to put in that effort for him. And it's not going to
Mm,
be easy. And the Bible is the ultimate discipline because it's really hard and you won't understand the majority of things. And I'd say that that's where the value really is.
yeah, yeah, I think that's part of books like the Bible is just
Hmm.
that they are tough to read, but possibly that's even on purpose. Like, I feel like if it's a little harder to read and you really need to put more thought into it, you're going to be more likely to, I don't know, really just take it in and use it.
Yeah. Elio, this has been a great 2 hour podcast. I have enjoyed
Thank
talking
you,
to
man.
you. It's
Me too.
about it's about 3 a.m. in my country. What time is it to you? 3
Well,
p.m.
it's 2:17 p.m. on the dot right now in New Zealand.
Hmm. Yeah, 2 p.m. Man, fucking hell. I wish you a whole lot of success, and I wish you to have
You
a
too, bro.
great rest of your day. I hope that this podcast has inspired some of you guys at home to really take life by the balls a little bit and to stop being lazy and to start actually putting effort into your life rather than just let life happen to you. And yeah, if you're at a starting point, you don't really know where to begin, I'd recommend, this is a biased opinion, I recommend you to read The Loop Escape. That's my book, and that's where I explained how I made my first $1,000 online, how I started, and mostly what has had to change in my mind, in my brain, before that could happen. Because the process itself, it's not that difficult. The process in your mind, that's the difficult part. And I'm gonna help you
Mm.
along with that journey. So feel free to check that out. It's gonna be the first link in the description. Check out Elio's content. His Twitter is full of copywriting value, so I highly suggest you check out Elio. And yeah, any final words?
Nah, man. It's been absolutely great. I've been loving doing this podcast with you. We gotta talk some other time soon again.
Sure.
And yeah, if you guys want to check me out, it's at Elio Goodrich on Twitter and on Instagram. And if you're interested in working with me, you can either DM me or just go to outsidebusiness.com and book a call there. So yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching.
Absolutely. Guys, go on, crush this day, and have a great day. Go out there and
Hey,
conquer.
hey, see you guys.